week of football.
No.
A lot to talk about.
Bad
Not
week.
for you. Oh, it don't matter. I mean, I started already after being a Patriots fan. You know, it was already going to be a disappointing season, but a lot to talk about the playoffs. I don't know.
We're winning the
how much is
offseason so far. We're winning the offseason so far. Mike Vrabel, I'll take that higher. But for playoffs, they were good. Well, one of the games was not very great, but the Ravens game I think was worth it.
I think we should go back. We recorded last Sunday, so we didn't get to the Rams-Viking game because that's obviously on Monday. Sam Darnold probably played the worst game he's played in 2 years. And I know David's not going to share this testament, but I still probably would have rather saw the Vikings versus the Eagles this week instead of
Darnold literally he played himself out of a contract. He'll get a contract, but he played himself out of a multi-year big contract, I think.
He threw 4 picks in that one game, and I think he had like something like
Darnold.
He didn't have that many this season. It was something like I don't even have the numbers in front of me, but it was, I think his touchdown to interception ratio was actually pretty good this season.
Well, we can look up the stats, right?
Yeah, we can if you want to look it up real quick.
What is it? Touchdown, TD, interception ratio?
Yeah. I think he wasn't that bad overall. I just
4,300 yards, 66.2 completion percentage.
He had
12 picks.
He had an amazing just statistic. I mean, the Vikings had an amazing season as well, and I know we have some other things to talk about, especially on the NFC North side of things. But when you look at the NFC North, they had 3 teams in the playoffs. Combined 40 wins, and none of them made it past their first match. Obviously, Lions had a bye week and lost. But it's when you look at that,
Lions,
that cohort, Lions, Vikings, and Green Bay, all 3 lost.
Which kind of, if you look at it now, like how far away are the Bears now? Right, like
does it
clearly all those other teams were pretenders all year.
Is this goes on to the second point? Is obviously with the Lions upset, is Daniels the best quarterback in the playoffs right now?
No, he's the shiny new toy, is what he is. He's a shiny new toy.
I think it's a little bit more than
that. He's a rookie.
Yeah, he's a rookie.
The best quarterback probably still has to be Mahomes, right? Most explosive is probably Daniels, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing going back to Brady and Peyton. Who do you want with the ball in your hands 2 minutes ago? You want Mahomes, and
well, yeah. It's I mean, can we blatantly talk about how
they were legit calls?
They were legit calls. Those 2 roughing the passer calls.
The one that he ran, the 2 guys that got tackled, he got hit in the head. At the end of the day, once the quarterback gives himself up, he cannot be touched.
That's not roughing the passer. That's not roughing the passer. You can't do NFL needs to make changes in this offseason. You cannot do a late slide as a runner, as a quarterback, and expect those calls.
For sure, the sideline ones.
Both of those roughing the passer calls, which we cannot discredit Houston missing, what is it, like 2 or 3 field goals and an extra point. Like, yeah, they could have been in it, but those 2 roughing the passer calls were both on 3rd down.
Yeah.
And both were touchdowns at the end of it. Like at the end of that drive.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it though, but who is it? I think it's the VP of the refs. I think he's the one on Fox. What was it? Dean Blandino? I forget his name. Yeah. He came out and he was like, "No, those calls were legit. They're textbook. It is what it is. Like, you may not like it."
Well, the first tackle, he didn't touch his helmet. I don't. That's not a roughing the passer. The first one.
I don't even think that's the worst call of the weekend.
But then when you look at that, you look at that, and then you see Hurts getting whacked out of the sidelines, no call. You see Jared Goff throw a pick, get whacked, which is on a pick. A quarterback is a defensive player. No roughing the passer calls on any of these throughout the weekend. Multiple times it happened in all the games.
Lamar got tackled out of bounds because the defensive player was continuing to tackle way out of bounds, and they didn't call anything either. But Jeff, come on, at the end of the day, you have Swift, right? You have Swift. You've got the Mahomes. You've got Kelsey. Your NFL's gonna protect its ratings. Let's be real.
I'm not disagreeing with it, but when you have a blatant one side that is like very tic-tacky, and you're throwing the flags, and then all the other quarterbacks are getting beat up, and there's no flags on that side.
But Jeff,
it's horrible.
We can't complain. We got all those calls with Brady. They essentially have earned it, and that's what sucks. It's just like basketball with the superstar calls, right? A rookie coming into the league is not going to get those calls, or second or third year. But if you've earned it, you're gonna get it, and they're gonna protect them.
But at the same point, like, I understand if it's close on some of the other quarterbacks, but they weren't. Like, Jared Goff threw a pick and got lit up.
Well, but that's not roughing, right? I don't know specifically the play, but if the pick happens, then it switches fields and it's fair game. If he's trying to make a play on the ball.
In the rule book, when a quarterback throws a pick, he automatically becomes a defenseless, whatever, person on the field. You cannot hit the quarterback unless he's trying to make a play. He wasn't. He threw the pick and was standing in the pocket, and then about 5 seconds later got lit up.
I didn't see it, but if that's what happened, that's clearly a mistake.
It's rough, and that was rough in the passer. But those plays, those clear textbook plays, are not being called for other quarterbacks, and then you have obviously Mahomes on the pedestal. Like, I was surprised they didn't throw a flag on his flopping.
Flop.
Like
that one.
You watch soccer. You watch soccer. If a player flops, they get a yellow card.
Yeah, the flop, that's honestly the one that pissed me off for the games this weekend. He's running for it and then slows down, trying to pick up the flag. And who is that? I mean, you're just putting yourself in that weird gray area where you could get hurt for the season or not. You know what I mean? I don't see how, but how do you take that out of the game, realistically?
They took the late slide out of the fake slide out of the game. They could do something with trying to draw that.
If I'm any team playing Kansas City, I tell my defense to light them up.
You gotta play through the whistle. You hit them as hard as you can.
If we get 3, 4, 5, roughing the passer calls, so be it. But I think once you light him up 2, 3 times, he's not gonna want to do the fake slides. He's not gonna want to do the little pump fakes and try to do that late going out of bounds maneuver that he just flopped on.
I don't condone obviously what happened like with the
targeting.
Bounty Gate, Gate and all that. You don't want them to go after, but that's you're taking advantage to that point now. Like, you're literally begging for a call. If he gets hit hard on the sideline, that will naturally stop. But as a league, I don't know how you can stop someone easing up on their run to collect a flag. It's just like in soccer. Players will run and then
I think you penalize him. I think you penalize him. I think you whatever. Yeah, I think you penalize the offense for doing some of those tactics, like a fake slide, trying to flop out of bounds.
It's the same thing, right? When you see the scuffle sometimes in the after a play happens, and then one dude barely touches the other one and he goes flying backwards. It's the same thing.
Exactly. Both sides. I think you have a penalty for like flopping and whatever it is, like 10 yards or 5 yards or whatever, loss of down, like whatever they want to come up with. But as being such a pro offensive league and defense can't do anything, like we need to stop the quarterbacks.
A nice simple 5-yard penalty, repeat the down.
Yeah. Because it's when you watch a Chiefs, and I understand we're Patriots fans, but I feel like we got special treatment, but not as much special treatment as Mahomes has. And it's obviously since Brady has come out of the league, it's became still a way more offensive geared league than defensive geared league. And obviously the defense, you can't even breathe on a receiver without getting a flag thrown. But it's just when you watch a Chiefs game, and I know we're gonna get in these clips Chiefs fans, I don't know how you can sit there and watch it and then see this guy do a fake slide, flop out of bounds, gets tackled normally, and then they throw a flag for roughing the passer. And a lot of times it seems like it's on third down when they were going to punt the ball. It's just, I think there needs to be a lot of changes on the quarterback, and a lot of changes on these fake slides. I totally agree. Like CTE and concussions, and you don't want the quarterback to get hit because they're the prized possession of every NFL franchise. But I think we need to stop kind of this charades of the quarterback can't do no wrong, because then you just make it unbearable to watch. I don't like watching a Chiefs game. Maybe that's a bias.
It's definitely tough. It's one of those things you want to.
And I'm not saying Houston didn't hurt themselves, like the Texans, but those two drives that he did get rough in the passer.
Yeah, but
to me, I know you think it was rough. To me, I don't think it was rough in the passer on both of those.
But you can't even blame the Texans, right? The Texans won in almost every statistical category besides the score. But once you factor in penalties, it's a completely different game. But how do you outgain a team? How do you beat them in everything and still lose the game? Again, is it just coaching? Is it just Andy Reid is so much better than DeMeco Ryans? Obviously, he is. But penalties.
Obviously, I think entirely the Chiefs team is probably a little bit better than the Texans. I know the Texans is a little bit younger, and I like CJ Stroud and stuff like that. But when you really see those two plays cause the Chiefs not to punt and they score touchdowns on those drives, it's a totally different game. But they still hurt themselves with missing field goals and extra points. But I want to get your take on that game just real quick, Tony. How do you feel about that safety at the end with sportsbook and games, being rigged?
It's a smart play, but boy, I didn't have money on that game, but I can only imagine losing a bet on
I didn't really see it, but did the Chiefs
he ran
cover?
Out. No, so they didn't cover because they purposely ran out of the end zone. He caught it, went back, and then ran out, just like the Patriots had done years ago, that they'd rather take the 2 points and then punt it away instead of something else, instead of potentially happening.
Yeah, you fumble it, or
They shaved 4 seconds.
I do want to say, so I just looked it up, right? Texans. Total yards 336 to the Chiefs.
They killed them in all categories. They killed them in all the categories.
Yeah, they had more first downs. They had more total plays, but they gave up 8 sacks. But they had 8 penalties for 82 yards. But they did what they needed to do. They kept Mahomes off the field. They had 33 minutes.
In the third quarter, they took 10 or 11 minutes of the entire third. They got the ball right after the half, and pretty much.
As a team, you do everything right besides a couple plays, and it just ruins your season.
Isn't that how New England handled them when they had Brady? Just don't give Mahomes the ball.
Yeah, it was always the same thing. You run the ball. It was against Peyton all the time. Keep him on the sideline, and that's what they did. But when he was on the field,
if you could choose 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes off, off the clock every time you get on the field, he don't have the ball in his hands. He can't.
And that's honestly what Ravens should have done with Josh Allen on the field. How Derrick Henry only got 16 carries in the game is
he should have had a minimum of 25. Minimum.
20 to 25 minimum. But yeah, I mean, Mahomes, Chiefs, they did it again. I just don't want another Chiefs Super Bowl. I just won't watch it. I'll watch. I won't say I won't watch it. I clearly will. But I'll watch halftime. But they're not exciting at all.
No. Do we think Lamar? I can't blame Lamar.
Lamar won that game. Lamar won that game.
I still understand. He threw a pick.
Wait. I have to say, I did see something that was interesting. John Hallbar does not have a 2-point conversion play besides the rollout to Mark Andrews.
I saw a video. The last like 4 or whatever big
3 or 4 times. It's all rolled out
it was the same,
to Mark Andrews.
It was the same. It's the same thing to Mark Andrews, and he dropped it. I think 3 out of the 4 times, or it was a bad pass from Lamar.
Like, I get that's a high percentage play, but you have Derrick Henry and Lamar. Why are you not running the triple option or at least an option?
Same thing with the Seahawks. Seahawks with Marshawn Lynch. Why did they throw that pass against the Patriots in the Super Bowl?
The Lamar's run game and Derrick Henry's run game brought you to where you were, and you go away from it. Does not make any sense.
In that cold, you should be running majority of the time.
Yeah. Mark Andrews had dropped one earlier. You know, I mean, there was drops in that game for both sides.
And didn't he in that last fourth quarter, which I obviously you guys know I wasn't feeling well, so I didn't watch the end of that game. But didn't he fumble it in the fourth quarter and had the drop?
He had a really poor performance.
It was Mark Andrews' second career fumble.
I'd rather have them do an RPO on that 2-yard line for a 2-point conversion where Lamar can hand it off to Henry or he can take it than do that weird rollout play that seems to not work.
Andrews.
I feel like with all the weapons they had, they could have utilized something better than what they did.
And
people were blaming Lamar for this loss, and I'm like, I understand he fumbled it and threw a pick in the first half, but
that fumble. How do you fumble that? I'm sorry. As good as he is as a runner, it's cold again. It was cold, freezing type weather. He put the ball on the ground on the spin and just lost it. But again, that's how it is with a running quarterback team, right? When you have a scrambling quarterback, you live and die by that. But they were in the game for the last play of the game, so you can throw all that out.
Not only were they in it, Tony, they were on like their 4-yard line with like 2 minutes left. I think only 1 timeout or something like that. When I was kind of looking at the game cast, and he marched up the field. Obviously, they're a run first team. So, and Lamar this season he has been good, but other seasons he hasn't been an exceptional passer. But you march up the field, whatever it is, 96 yards, and then you don't give it. You're the 2 best runners besides maybe Saquon in the league, like Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry.
But it's and again it goes back to he's just coaching at the end of the game. I mean, if you're the other team, if the Ravens keep running the same 2-point conversion, they're gonna go for it again with the same exact play. Where's the variety? And I get it. There's been different offensive coordinators for Lamar's career, and they're on another new guy. I think what is his second year now? Maybe I don't even know because he's had his best year under this coordinator. But why are we still sticking with the same play in crunch time? You brought Henry in for a reason.
And this is the playoffs. I'd rather them do like a tush push or something at the 2-yard line than try to run. Like I said, I think we saw the same video. I don't think it was ever complete, that rollout play to Mark Andrews.
And it's always the same side. Same side.
Instead of maybe faking it and then doing a little screen pass maybe on the other side to Derrick Henry or something, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think you can. People were blaming Lamar. I don't think you can blame it on Lamar at all.
No, not at all. You live and die with that. But again, you can't blame Lamar. I don't know if you guys know, but Peyton Manning was like 2 to 3 games under 500 in his career before he turned it around and ended up going 15-14 for his career in the playoffs. It is what it is. Not everyone is going to be undefeated in the playoffs or have a great record in the playoffs. It takes a little bit. It was the same thing with Peyton. We look at Peyton now, one of the best all time, right? Lamar will go down, obviously, as one of those. I'm not worried about it.
I'm going to have to take on. I don't even think Lamar would even have to win a Super Bowl. I think he'll still be a Hall of Fame quarterback.
If he keeps going the way he's going, I think so too.
Yeah. We've never seen a quarterback be like, you watch in slow motion his RPOs, And then you wonder why defenses don't know like who to tackle. That ball can be inside Henry's gut, and he just pulls it right out and starts, running with it. And then like, whatever the middle linebacker tackles Henry, and Henry don't have the ball. And Lamar is already now 15 yards upfield.
So they'll be back. I mean, they'll be back in the conversation again next year. We'll see them again. I like Lamar. That game changed nothing. Didn't change anything about my opinion of him.
No, I mean, I think those. I mean, personally, I think when we talked last week, I think we said whoever was going to win this game, anyways, is going to win. I personally think whoever, whether it was the Ravens or the Bills, they're going to beat Kansas City, anyways.
Yeah, I said Ravens and Lions, and both of them lost. So I went 0 for 2.
I don't think anyone expected the Lions to lose, so that was crazy.
You put up 30 or 31 points, and you still lose.
31, yeah.
It's not even that they put up 31. They gave up 45.
Yeah. But the Commanders are clicking, and like they're clicking with Zach Ertz, Dewami Brown.
I guess we can say it was the same thing. Like, what is it, 2-3 years ago when the Rams won their Super Bowl? Like they were just clicking on all cylinders, and
you start clicking at the right time. Honestly, my favorite part about that Lions game was the no huddle from the Commanders, and the stat that they showed that they ran, I believe it was 60% of their offense through no huddle, which it's Patriots
no huddle is one of the most dynamic.
On the road, Jaden Daniels looked like a 10-year pro out there, getting to the line, hand signals. They knew which play, bang. The Lions couldn't do anything. Even if they had Hutchinson back, I don't think it would have.
I will say, which I know we give, I love Dan Campbell as a coach. I think he's really changed that organization around. I will say, though, the Lions, like when you look at their injury chart, they were really banged up, like on both sides of the ball.
Yeah,
which obviously you can't. All teams are banged up when they go into the playoffs. But I think they're going to be back in the playoffs next year, anyways. They're just too good of a team now. I don't know. I don't think you can put on like Goff as much. I mean, he did put up 31 points. I mean, maybe you look at the defense. I mean, it was the same thing with Stafford when he was on the Lions. Like he would put up 40 and the other team would put up 45. Like the defense has to make stops.
But like the funniest thing out of that game though, right? If you're the defensive coordinator, Glenn, right? You're interviewing for these head coaching jobs and your team just got smacked with 45 points. I know for a fact if I was interviewing him, my first question would be, how'd you give up 45 points to the Commanders? Like, that's your most important game, 45 points. And you didn't do anything about it. Like, it was just a consistent killing all game.
Like, I was listening to Tom Brady talk about the Commanders, and they were like, yeah, the team's hot. But when your season ends, whether you win the Super Bowl or get bounced in the playoffs, next year's a whole different season. Now, the Commanders were trash for years, right? Until this season, right?
They had a great hire in their coach, right? Great hire. They had a great draft class, a great free agency.
Is this going to be the flash in the pan, or are we going to see continued years of success? Like you don't see too many Patriot runs, Kansas City runs, right? You don't see that too often.
Here's the thing, though. You have the new ownership in Washington. You don't have the previous ownership. So why not, right? Why wouldn't they keep this going?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But it's, the NFL, it's just a hard league to be successful in. Yep. You could have a really good year, and then the next year you get 5 wins.
Yep.
Let's talk about the snowball.
I didn't watch. Rams. I was at a birthday party. I watched nothing of this game until I randomly saw a highlight and I saw how much snow there was.
Yeah, it was a fucking.
The first half really wasn't that bad, and either way, the Rams. I mean, I think if there was no weather conditions, I think the Eagles put a dominating win over the Rams. Like I don't even think it would have been close. They had, excuse me, they had what, a 44-yard run by Hurts.
That was a lot.
Yeah, 44 yards.
And then they had like a
start it,
60-something yard. Yeah, then they had like a 66-yard
It was
guy.
They couldn't stop a nosebleed.
similar to the game that they played in week 12 or 13.
Yeah,
right?
it was like 6 weeks ago or something.
However,
and obviously
the difference was they had 6 sacks on
Hurts. Right?
Hurts. Thank you. Yeah, I couldn't think of his name. And I don't know if that was indicative of the weather or the fact that he was injured for a portion of that.
I think it's hard to tell too. Like when we watch those games, and like the first half wasn't as snowy, but the second half was really snowy.
Correct.
Those like 4K, 8K cameras that they use, you can't really see the snow. Yeah, but when you get those side profile angles, it's snowing hard, and like you look up and you get hit with snow in your face, like you can't see. So I think like the second half, that's why I was kind of. You had that other Barkley run that was like for like 80 yards or something like that, because like. If they can't see, their foot gets stuck wrong in the snow, like there's not much they can do about it. And when you get into those snow games, like you're not throwing the ball anymore. You're just handing it off.
It's all run.
And you're just hoping that they don't fumble it.
I think the Saquon run was the only touchdown in the second half. The rest was just field goals, I believe. I
do think it kind of saves Sean McVay's career there at the Rams, because I know, was it last year or the year before? They were like horrible.
2 touchdowns. I just looked up. There's 2 touchdowns, a 78-yard run, and then the Rams scored with 2:48 left. Parkinson.
Right. Yeah.
But again, same thing with the Ravens, right? Rams had 2 fumbles that led to 6 points.
Back-to-back possessions, yeah.
It was
6 points. What they lose by? 6.
6 points. Yeah.
What was it? Kyron Williams fumble, and then it was Stafford, right?
Correct.
So
I mean, that last drive.
I know weather conditions.
The last drive that Stafford did in the conditions that he was slinging that thing.
That last throw was horrible.
The last throw was atrocious.
And I know they were trying to like say like there was a little bit of holding on Puka, but when you're throwing it into the section 100s, like they're not going to throw a flag on that. Like that throw wasn't even close at all. Like if it was actually pretty close, like near the sideline, that throw, because it was an out route, maybe a flag would have been thrown. But when you're throwing it into the stands, they're not going to throw a flag, which I hope they shouldn't throw a flag on that, because it wasn't even catchable. Especially on 4th down.
Yeah, the game on the line kind of thing.
And I hate it, Tony, and I know this is a big pet peeve of mine. They were down. Let me get this. They were down by 13, the Rams, with like 3 minutes left or 4 minutes left or whatever it was. And then you have the Eagles play like a soft cover 3. And allow the Rams, and all teams do this. I don't know why, and it's because they don't want to get burned for a quick touchdown. They let them you take 15-yard chunks every time, then you score a touchdown, and only a minute comes off the clock. Eagles go 3 and out, punt the ball, and then you have Stafford with a minute and a half left, or what is it, right around the 2-minute warning.
No, he had
march up the field again.
Minutes,
yeah, he marched up the field again. Obviously, they're playing tighter defense now because they don't want him marching up the field, playing like a cover 1, cover 2. And then, obviously, we know the Eagles won. But it's like, why? I don't like when teams play that soft zone because they're winning.
I don't either. You're just letting them go all, like, do whatever they want. That was one thing I did notice.
It's Stafford. You still have Puka. You still have all, like...
You've got like a quarter
quarterback.
Yeah, you've got Puka. You've got a quarter of Cooper Kupp's body, I guess. He was clearly hurt, probably going into that game.
Cooper Kupp is still Cooper Kupp. Like,
not anymore, right? He couldn't stay healthy all year.
Yeah, but I think if Puka wasn't there, there would be a lot more throws to Kupp.
Yeah.
I think Puka took a lot of the load off of Kupp, and that's why we're not seeing nearly as much as Kupp as we are used to. Because who else was he going to throw the ball to? It's either him or DeMarcus Robinson.
Who's the tight end for the Rams?
Higbee just came back. Higbee's a beast, but he's a tissue paper. He gets hurt every game.
Yep. It's like Gronk. It was like Gronk for the Patriots. Like, yeah, when he was there, it was nice, but he played 50% of the time because he was never there.
No, I mean, it was a great game. I mean, it was entertaining, at least.
But if you look on the bright side, right, that defense is so cheap. It's young.
Oh yeah.
Did you see how much they're spending on their defense?
The Rams, you mean?
They are, yeah, the Rams. I looked it up because I had seen it earlier.
They're
The
all rookies.
Rams, they have one first rounder on that side of the ball, and they spent 39.5 million this season. 39.5. The Steelers are paying TJ Watt 30 million this year.
That's crazy. Well, I
That's
think
yeah,
I
that's
think that's
The,
gonna change when
the,
Jared Verse is like he knows his worth. He's a
yeah,
beast.
but
Brandon Fisk is another one who knows his worth.
you've got a year, right? So now you've got a few years. And this is when you gotta, most teams do it with the rookie quarterback, right? The rookie contract quarterback. That way you fill out everything. But you're doing it with the defense pretty much all cheap. So go finish out the rest of the offense, right? I know they're spending a ton already on offense, but Demarcus Robinson is your third option, right? Or go get a valuable backup for Higbee because he
I
clearly
hate
can't stay in.
I hate to say it. I think the Rams need to get rid of Cup and spread it out somewhere else. Because
yeah, but
like
what are you gonna get for Cup? The problem is, what are you gonna get for Cup? Like a six
for a
rounder?
team like the Commanders who need someone to actually reliably catch the ball, they can't rely on
Is that
Jaden
Scary
Daniels.
Terry?
Yeah, I mean, Scary
Scary Terry.
Terry, I have him in fantasy. He didn't do much.
You're also
Um,
dealing with a rookie quarterback too. I think you give him,
I
which
think
I
that's,
don't know.
but what made the Rams successful is two threats down the field. You have Puka and Cup. That's two threats, that you have to cover every single
You know,
play. And not to
you
mention,
know,
you bring Kyron Williams, been
you
good.
know what
Like
you
the
know what you
Rams never had
do.
a
You know
running
what you
game
do
until
for the
this year.
Rams, which I would hope the Patriots would get him, but you trade Cooper Cup over to the Bengals and get T Higgins with some
The
whatever.
Or
Bengals
someone
will.
who wants to leave, like Chase wants to leave,
Chase
I
No,
ain't gonna
believe.
leave.
but
Chase ain't gonna
yeah,
leave
but if
Burrow.
you're the Bengals, right? If you're the Bengals, you're never doing that. Cooper Cup with them, he's like 15 million. It looks like 15 million for next year.
Is that 100% the team has to cover,
There's
or is it
like
like an
oh my
option,
gosh,
like where
the
it's
He's on
the
his way
cap
out, I
hit,
believe.
the cap hit is like 29 million.
Yeah,
so that's
I
the
think
problem you
Cup's
have
on
with
his
the
way out.
Rams, right? If no team wants to cover that 15 million, then
You're stuck with him.
if you drop him, you
Yeah,
still got to cover that
you.
15 million.
But at the end of the day, you keep him. You have him mentor Puka. He's
Yeah,
more valuable than just cutting him and letting him go elsewhere. It doesn't make any sense to cut him.
No, I don't think you cut him for a loss. I don't think you cut him if you don't
I
gain
still
out of
I
it.
still I still 100% think that T Higgins is going to be on the market. So you put him in like opposite of Puka
I would
and
love for
have
him to go to the Pats.
oh I 100%, as I said,
I think the
100%
Pats
would
just
love for
need
him.
someone to catch the fucking ball,
Well,
like
the
any
Pats
day.
have so much. Apparently, from what I saw, the Pats have so much money to spend
Yeah.
this upcoming year.
Well, they
So,
could have had a first round pick if the coach wasn't trying to make a name for himself.
well, I think Gerard Mayo found out that he wasn't returning and kind of just gave
Spilled it.
Kraft the middle finger.
He must have known because Robert Kraft put out that statement so quick. That shit was already written
That
up, ready
statement
to
came out
go,
20 minutes
printed.
after the game ended.
Yeah, it was ready to go for weeks.
Yeah.
I know we were gonna, I guess for any of our listeners, we have an idea of a second podcast, pretty much called Quick Hits, where if something dynamic happens in news, whatever, sports, gaming that we think is worthwhile, we'll record a short podcast for that. We were going to do one this week, didn't get to it. But what do you guys think about Switch 2, the design, the leak price?
So I'm gonna say I'll probably go first on this one, unless anyone else feels they want to go first.
I think I have one thing to say about the Switch, and then you guys can kind of take over. I
Right.
don't like how the controllers connect now. I feel like it is so easy to break those connections because now
I will.
it's not a slide into a guardrail sort of thing. It's more of just like a
And
connection.
And that's actually one of the points I was going to make on that, right? So what was the biggest problem with the Switch 1, right? Joy-Cons, strict
They break,
stick
yeah.
drift. The amount of fixing that the Nintendo to this day, you can send out your
And pretty
broken
much-
Joy-Cons with stick drift and they'll fix it. It's almost like there was such an issue that you're now putting it into the console. So Switches are going to be held by kids. They're going to get dropped. It's going to snap that piece and whatnot. Now you got to go buy a new Switch.
Yeah, now it's
And
no
that's
longer
the
just
part
buying
I
each
don't
other.
I
like.
think
And-
when you, I guess if you look at me as a demographic, and you guys know my office setup, I have all my consoles on hide-it mounts on the wall up there with the original Switch. I never really play my Switch off the dock. It's usually on the TV.
Correct.
What would entice me to buy a Switch 2? I get the screen's like an OLED now or something like that.
It's not.
But
It's not. It's not. So that's the thing. You're not getting an OLED. So you're getting an 8-inch screen is what you're looking at. You're getting an 8-inch screen.
which is
It's supposed
what
to
the
be-
old Switch was, what, 7 inches?
Yeah, you're getting you're getting a little bit bigger. It's the Joy-Cons are getting bigger. You're getting the better processor, so it's gonna run smoother and better games and everything that's going on. The SD cards
It was
that they
6.2
use,
inches was
Was
the
that-
original.
yeah, so it's going up to 8.
But either way, I
and-
don't use it off the dock. Like I always use it on the TV, which then, in
See, I'm the
retrospect,
other way.
too, I don't. The only time I ever actually use a Switch handheld is the girls' Switch Lights, and that's to help them with a game they're playing. But when I actually play Mario Kart, it's docked like any of Mario Kart, Mario Party, whatever game it is, which I rarely play the Switch, but it's on the dock. So like whatever screen size technology they're using really doesn't apply to me.
But like, see the other way, right? So you play yours mainly docked. I've brought mine on trips, right? I've brought it on vacations, and it's the coolest thing when you can play it on an airplane, right? Or you're at the airport, hotel room, whatever it is, and it's super awesome. Now getting the bigger screen, bigger Joy-Cons, because that was probably one of my biggest gripes with Switch One. It was small, right? It didn't feel
But
right.
what about,
I
aren't you though, like which obviously, like I said, have all the consoles on the wall, which I also have Game Pass. Wouldn't you like? I would rather just, instead of having my Switch, have a tablet, like a good tablet, or my phone, and just have Xbox Cloud and just stream a game, or have a game
See,
downloaded.
So I have the PlayStation Portal, which is streaming, right? You can stream off a PlayStation server, or you can stream off of your own PlayStation console through your network to the network you're on. It's not a great experience. It's
Have you tried the
passable.
Xbox Cloud experience? Because when I've used it, like I haven't used it a bunch, but it was actually a pretty good, seamless experience, and like there was a lot of games on it too.
Yeah, which I have, but wouldn't you rather just be able to pop the Switch cartridge in and not have to worry about any internet connection? I can play it as much as I want and not be worried about my internet connection in an airport
I
or in the
think-
hotel room.
From what I understand with the cloud, which I could be wrong, I think single player games you could download, like games that you played a lot, so that
So
bypasses
fine.
the.
Yeah, so Xbox, I believe, is working on that, or it's already out.
Yeah,
PlayStation
yeah.
is working on the same thing.
And obviously
but
too, like I like my Elite controller too for the Xbox, which I'll fight anybody about it. Xbox has a better controller than PlayStation.
That's a crazy statement.
Nah, that's not a
Biased.
crazy
I
statement. The
think
Elite
that's
controller,
The-
the Elite
the
controller
new-
is.
now the
PlayStation
DualSense
controllers
controller.
are for people with smaller hands.
No,
If you
wait,
got a big, no, I don't, Tony,
stop. The DualSense is the best controller that's been made.
no. The best controller ever made is the Xbox Elite controller. We're gonna get heated. We're gonna get if this gets a clip, it's gonna be a heated
That's
should-
ridiculous.
Start
topic.
making a poll for it right now.
Yeah, let
But
me
either way,
let me just play this game with this brick in my hand. Like,
to me,
for real.
to me, the price point's null about the Switch 2. I just don't see it as.
I think it's at the leaked price. The leaked price of $350 is an instant day one purchase.
I think if you go higher than $350, like if they're in the $399, $499 price range, like I think that's a hard sell.
Why would anyone ever want to buy that over
Exactly.
buying one of the what is it, the streaming only console, right? The Xbox or the PlayStation, the one without the disc drive. Doesn't make any sense. No one in their right mind would do that unless you're just clearly don't
And
know
the
what
Switch
you're
2,
buying.
I'm not even. Like I said, I'm not their target, I guess, demographic. Just how I play my Switch. But if it was like at $299, I think I might buy it.
What was the Switch
It's
at
into
when
it.
it first
It's
released?
so the original Switch released at $300, I believe, and then the OLED came out for $350 because I bought the OLED.
And I think we know like consoles are like a sunk cost for most.
Yeah, you're getting they get everything back on accessories and
on accessories and games, you know.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. And then going on to the magnetic Joy-Cons, I don't know. I feel a lot better with those those sliding like the original ones right now, the sliding magnetic ones.
So I might own too many Switches, just like from where I used to work when they gave us Switches, and then the OLED that I bought. I have a bunch of left Joy-Cons in my house that just have a ton of stick drift. It's a terrible design.
But I think
I'm hoping the magnetic one will help.
I'm not talking about. I'm just talking about not the, I guess, Joy-Con itself, like the actual like stick drift. I'm talking about like
the magnets. The magnets
the slide and magnet one.
There's buttons in the back for the magnets to pop in and out. It's not just clicking them together. There's still going to be a release.
But I get that, but how fast do we think like that magnetic little prong is going to break?
So, but I'm not too I know I'm concerned about it, but I'm not concerned as probably everyone else. Because Nintendo's drop design has been phenomenal through the ages. If you go back and you go look at the GameCube, everything that Nintendo has usually released has been extremely sturdy. So I'm not too concerned, honestly.
Imagine, Tony, for a second though, and this is, just throwing it out in the air. If that little magnet style Joy-Cons, that little prong, imagine if that becomes like the Xbox 360 Red Ring of Death. Like those things are constantly breaking.
It can't be worse than what they just had for the Joy-Cons with the stick drift, because the stick drift issue was probably just as bad as the Xbox Red Ring of Death, to the point that, there was probably going to be a class action coming at them, so they had to fix it. So I don't think it'll be an issue.
But I think like you technically still could use the Joy-Con even with the stick drift. If that prong breaks, like how much functionality are you losing?
That's why I think the first Switch had it right, where you just easily replace the Joy-Con versus the entirety of the.
Yeah, because if that prong breaks, like that's part of the actual whole unit.
But
like if you break one.
But again, that part's only really going to break, right, if you're carrying it on the go and it's slipping out of your hand.
Yeah.
But also too, like it could just be a bad and I know like Nintendo has always had solid products, but it doesn't take much to have just a bad engineering design, and it only has one solder joint, and it's near like the battery pack that gets too hot, and then it heats up that soldering joint, and then that prong moves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, on the front,
obviously, you're making a bunch of different scenarios.
First look, it looks terrible. It looks terrible, but I trust Nintendo. Nintendo's never really given us a reason not to trust them with their consoles in terms of durability.
You're right.
If they 100%, but if they come out with that, like if that's like the final design, I would wait at least, like personally, I would wait 6 months to a year before I buy one. Just because if that was an issue, like I would rather have them redesign it and come out with like quote unquote newer models that fix the problem, which unlike Xbox, they most likely fix it, and then buy one.
Yeah.
I'm just
it looks nice. It looks really slick. It honestly looks like the Steam Deck. It looks like all those other Steam enabled portable devices out there now, which is kind of funny because Nintendo doesn't usually do that. And I 100% was expecting a really shitty name, something really dumb. I was expecting like the new, in parentheses, Nintendo Switch. You know what I mean? Because of what they've done previously with the 3DS and with the Wii and the Wii U. I was expecting something really dumb and idiotic, which was not the case. And that's kind of nice.
Well, when you have the Xbox jumping from Xbox to 360, then one.
Yeah, we don't talk about those dark times with that name.
The Xbox One Series X.
I think we can all. I think I think we can all agree though, Game Pass is probably the best bang for your buck in gaming.
No, I agree with that.
Oh yeah,
Even on the
I think
PC,
so.
it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know PlayStation, which I have one. I don't play PlayStation that much, and I know they have a similar concept. I just know that people that have it say that have both say the games are definitely not up to par as like Game Pass games.
Yeah, PlayStation's slowly getting there, but Microsoft had such a head start. But with the
And
way
also
things are going,
Microsoft is buying all the big studios. So
yeah, it's literally just a pissing contest between Sony and Microsoft about who can buy the bigger one. But honestly, with Game Pass, the PlayStation Plus Deluxe one that allows you to have the game catalog, they're a great deal, especially with what we're hearing, right? David, I don't know if you saw the headline about that. You have video game industry analysts are hoping GTA 6 comes out at $100.
So let me
I
touch
heard
base on that.
80 to 100.
So this is the thing. We're I believe what we're doing right now.
Inflation wise, we're already above 70. But it has not. Some games are already at 70, which we've seen. How much higher are we going to go if we're getting microtransactions? Like an NBA 2K game right now, you're paying full price, right? So like what, $60, $70? To get the full experience, you have to drop 100 to 120 before even factoring in the special editions, ultimate editions. What, we're going to go up to 80, 100, then we're looking at 140, 160? That's just crazy.
So
I
I
you will
believe
never
that
sell me on $100 game.
No, but that's the thing.
GTA
You
6
will.
for 80.
You will. That's the thing. They won't do it because the only reason they are doing it is because they know people will play it because GTA is such a high title game. It's been anticipated for how many years
Right
now?
now, I'm telling you who the leak is. The leak is Rockstar. It's nobody else. They're trying to gauge online sentiment of this quote unquote rumor leak of $80 to $100 to see what people are thinking. And they're pulling
But
in
like
data points.
the funny thing is like some publishers, developers could rightfully justify $80, right? Baldur's Gate 3, you pay $80 for that, you're satisfied, right? Because of the amount of money you're getting. But then you go buy $80 for Kill the Suicide Squad, and you literally are asking for a refund and probably doing a chargeback in your credit card. But if we're going to try to raise the price, right, to 80 to 100, we've already eliminated physical media pretty much in almost every single brick and mortar store. How
You're
are we going to
eliminating all the
eliminate?
middleman.
You're eliminating all of the physical and the marketing and the production that goes into all that product, and still want to increase your price. What?
It's because people. I firmly believe it's strictly because people will pay it and they know they will.
If a game costs $100, I better not see 1 ounce of
No, and you will.
microtransactions
You
in
will
that game. And you
because
will, exactly.
you
And you
will.
will.
And I will. My barber just raised his prices another $10, and I'm already like, I used to go weekly, then bi-weekly and stuff like that, and then it became like monthly because it just kept raising prices. Like it's been raised like 4 times since I started going to him, and it's like it gets to that point too. Like when is enough? When you're talking about like the gaming industry, like you're charging, yeah, not even that. A lot of times they're charging all these different bundles, and then some of the bundles that is whatever, it's $120, but you get 4 days pre-access. But then we're still
Games
going to have
are coming out.
microtransactions in it or boost.
Yeah,
And it's like
games are coming out not fully finished because they're holding content back for the DLC or the season pass already. If I'm spending $80 to $100 in a game, I don't want a battle pass. I don't want any DLC because that's the part that's really tough to get a real gauge on the market, right? Every game that's coming out that's either free, 20, 40, 60, 70, right? You don't get
every
a true
game has a
sense of
battle
what
pass
they're
now.
making. You don't get a true sense of how much they're making now because of all the microtransactions. Yeah, you can say, hey, I mean, we released our game for $40. We should have been more, but you're nickel and diming everyone across the board.
I mean, Fortnite was a good example. Free game, battle pass, but their battle pass though, if you save the currency,
it would pay for itself.
it'd pay for the next battle pass.
Yeah.
Which a lot of games that have a battle pass, they don't have that, where you can use their in-game currency to pay for the next battle pass. And some of the games, like you look at their battle pass and you're like, why? But then it's because people that like that game are gonna pay for the battle pass anyways, even if they're not even gonna use half the stuff in it because half the cosmetics are trash anyways.
But like it's something like Fortnite is completely different though, right? Because it's $0 up front. But
Yeah.
like I bought the last NBA 2K, right? All right, cool. I'm gonna go play my career with my guy that I just
But you
spent
got to drop
$30 playing with,
$150 in their currency to get it to a build where
just
you can
just
actually
to
use it
make my
online.
just to make my guy even be remotely a competent basketball player. And then hey, let me go get a haircut for my guy or get these cool looking shoes. And I have to pay like $5 each.
I
This
saw somebody. I was watching some TikTok videos. This may be a year or so ago, and he used to like go around like the storefronts or whatever. Like you can walk around the game and go to like whatever and buy stuff. I never played 2K, and he was like, "How much is this skateboard?" And it was something crazy, like 70,000 credits. He's like, "Why is it this much money?" Yeah, you could get it in game, but it's going to take you 2 months to like get enough credits to buy that skateboard. Or like Tony said, you could
it'll take you so long that the next release for the year will be out again.
Yeah, or you could pay the $6 or whatever it is to get that 70,000 credits to buy the skateboard, and that's what they do.
But
They put it. They price it.
But
They
here's the
price
deal.
it so
But if
high.
it was,
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, but if I'm spending 80 on NBA 2K, right, and right off the rip, my guy is good to go and go play online with my friends, and I don't have to grind for everything, I'd spend the 80 if I don't have to deal with all the other bullshit.
Like was a good example of that, which we played it a little bit, was when we played Madden. What is it like? What was it? The 3-on-3.
The
What
yard.
was it called?
No,
The
they
yard.
are.
It could take you a few days, but you could get your character to the max level 18, which was the highest level, which to me is fine. Like it takes a couple days, you get your guy max on whatever skill kind of tree you want to go up, whether it's a quarterback, receiver, or whatnot. And if you make something else, you can go from there. Like it doesn't take you long.
Yeah, which I mean, but like isn't that? But that's the thing though. If I'm spending all that money, I'm okay. Like I'd be okay not having the microtransactions, but that's realistically.
How much we spend on that camera, Jeffrey?
No, it's because
it's the lighting.
Yeah,
it's overcompensating for the light.
Let me just drop real quick and come back in.
But like I'm playing. Switch this over to something people can actually comfortably look at.
I'm coming right back in.
Yeah, yeah.
Audio, visual, technical difficulties.
So
there we go.
Like I'm playing Path of Exile right now, and it's generally a free to play game. For to play early, it was $30 to play early. The alpha tested out, whatever, which is that's understandable. $30, not that much barrier to entry. For a game that's inevitably gonna be free to play anyway, their whole business model is microtransactions, and that's okay because it's all cosmetic. Oh well, most of it.
Isn't it though?
Ooh,
Isn't that $30 bundle? Don't you get some in-game credits? Don't you get some in-game credits that you could use?
No, it's all money. It's all money. There's no there's no play the game to earn credits. It's all if you want the cosmetics, you got to pay for it. There are some things that are not technically pay to win, but like the stash tabs where you get different tabs for your stash that have I mean, you don't need it, but it definitely makes your life a lot easier where they're like pre-organized and you can just hot drop from your inventory to the tabs without any organizational skills whatsoever. It does it for you, which is great. But they're expensive as all shit. That's the thing. Like, a skin set, like if you want like a matching skin set, will run you anywhere from $50 to $100 for one skin set. And the way they get you is only one character can use a skin per skin. So like if I buy a skin, all my characters can't have it. Only one character can use that at once, which is kind of ridiculous, but
So they kind of try to pigeonhole you to like.
Yeah, but once again, it's not.
But also,
needed to
it's
play
like
the
you said,
game.
when it comes live, it's a free to play game. So
Correct. So I think
imagine
that's
you're
okay.
paying $100 for a game, and they're like, you can only use this one skin on this one. You know what? You know what Fortnite did right, which I hate about Call of Duty, is that when you get a weapon skin, it can be applied to all the weapons.
Yeah, that's
any skin. Yeah, even like the boat skins or the car skins, it can be applied to everything.
I like that too. I think Call of Duty got it fucked up that day.
I hate that because like, and they do it on purpose. Call of Duty does it on purpose
Yeah, it's all
because
purposeful.
of the bundles.
Because Warzone's free to play too, right? You don't have to buy Call of Duty. Yeah, Warzone's
so
free
they'll
to play,
bundle like a good weapon and a shitty weapon that like a single shot weapon, which right now they don't do anything in Warzone. But you're like, oh, this is a cool like skin, but it's like I'm not going to use that other weapon.
But I think that's okay because you don't need to buy it either. You know, it's all.
It is. They are. They
But
tend though to be pricey.
But like, staying on Call of Duty, right? The last multiplayer game came out. Which one was it? Black Ops.
Yeah.
Latest Black Ops comes out, full price $70, but yet I need to pay $10 every season to further my progress and unlock cool things. Why not have that built in as part of the game? Why? How many seasons do they have per year? Just curious.
A season is probably like
It's like 3 months, so it's probably like 4 a year or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But also on the side note,
$70. Now you're over $100 because you know another one's going to come out the following year. So now you just spend $110 before you buy anything else to get to the next game. They're not doing that.
But also, Tony, if you have Game Pass, like you got Call of Duty Black Ops 6 for free.
Right.
But then you're paying what, $20 a month every single month? $120. At the end of the day, it's over $100, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, true. But like, how I justify Game Pass, like I don't really like buy games anymore. So like,
because you're on PC and you're playing on Xbox, but I play on PlayStation, right? So if I want to play, I have to dish out $70.
You know what that means? I'm gonna go over an Xbox.
I'm not going to the inferior console.
Can we talk about the ridiculous 2 or 3 days that led up to the TikTok ban that only lasted like 14 hours?
All the goodbyes. I have to say, I don't know if you guys saw all the different social media like accounts posting. Did you see the Internet Explorer one?
No,
Internet Explorer posted one. It's the viral clip of the woman coming into the room and goes, this is nice. This is new. Which was perfect for Internet Explorer.
The I got a good kick out of the one too. It was like a girl crying and doing like old school TikTok dances. It was like a meme, but she's at like a restaurant and it's like all your favorite content creators now serving at like Texas Roadhouse. And it's like which is weird that they actually did ban it because President Biden said that he wasn't enforcing the ban.
Yeah,
and then at like 6 p.m., 7 p.m. of like the 19th or whatever, the 18th, they were like, oh, this ban's gonna happen. But it was just like a warning. It didn't do anything. And then like it wasn't even at midnight. It wasn't even at midnight. It was like at 10,
it was like 10:30, like
it was 10:30 because Anna went to work and I went to go on TikTok and late because usually I watch it for maybe like 10-20 minutes before going to bed. And it was banned, completely banned. So I said that to her and she was like, well, that's great because she works overnight. So it kind of keeps her up and stuff like that.
I walked into my kid's bedroom. I was like, hey, just checking in on you since TikTok's gone now. Are you doing okay?
So it was banned. And I'm like, that's kind of weird because Biden said he wasn't enforcing it, which there's always alternative motives behind it. And then you see like 12 hours later, another notification on the app saying, thanks to President Trump, we're going to lift the ban.
Which is weird because he's not even in office yet.
He wasn't even in office yet. Yeah. So it's like there's some backdoor handshakes and then.
Oh, for sure. And just
then you
like
have Facebook. Facebook created a TikTok account like newly that day. So it's like people are speculating whether Meta is going to buy 50% of.
So that's what I was going to say. So the rumor is that the U.S. wants 50% ownership of TikTok. And honestly, if you're a TikTok CEO, you have to listen to that. Now, how much of your viewership is US?
That's kind of
170
so
million.
janky.
170 million.
Like, yeah,
Well, people are complaining that Chinese with our data, like
they've had our data for God knows
People,
how long.
people
you really
comprehend
looking
that.
at. Yeah, we're not going to complain about Facebook and Facebook Messenger taking our data or any of these other major apps, Instagram, Google, nothing. So we're
They've
not going to
had our
complain
data.
about
Yeah, they've had it for
American
so long.
companies, but like it's just it's silly to me, like how this whole ban started. And then on top of that, you have 7 million businesses on TikTok. I'm assuming not all of them are actually making money, but you have a lot of them, probably a high percentage, actually making decent money on the app. And now you're stopping them from making an income. It's just like shitty all around for the American people. But it only lasted like 14 hours. And I'm like, was this just a stunt, a ploy?
I don't think it was a stunt. I don't think they gained anything from it.
Right. Good news / good publicity is always good for someone, right?
But when was the last time, though, you saw a big tech company actually name, though, a president in their...
Well, yeah, it's weird, but the CEO
usually they
of
just say,
TikTok,
like, the legislative of Congress is working on something. They never name,
Yeah, they never
like, an actual...
personally thank the president.
Yeah, thank somebody. So that's still a little weird as well.
Yeah, I mean, I believe the next 4 years are going to be a little weird, but
Did anybody watch the inauguration at all?
no, I didn't even get
Or
to.
see
I
Elon
was
Musk get super happy and then do
Do the
what happened? I did see that already.
Yeah.
What is that?
people just said he was just like super pumped and happy and didn't realize that, but he got scolded on the side. But
yeah,
it's
let's
also
do
Elon Musk.
the Hail Hitler kind of thing going on there.
Yeah, so
Crazy.
Crazy.
I mean, it was a peaceful transition. I also sent Chris. Let me get my notes up. It was like with Eric and stuff. They didn't watch it, but he signed like a federal hiring freeze a couple hours ago. A federal return to office.
He's
Cost
already
of
making
living
moves,
crisis
bro.
deregulation.
The biggest one right now is the one that I had put on for us to talk about, which is the Border Patrol. Exactly at 12 o'clock noon when he got sworn in, the app went offline. App went offline. All applications that were pending got denied, and any interviews that were scheduled all got rejected, which is crazy to me. And I know I had put the stats in there for us. For almost 1,500 migrants per day seek asylum through that app, which was started by, I believe, Biden. That app no longer exists, and it doesn't matter, right? And there's hundreds of thousands of people, I guess, on the Mexican border trying to come in for asylum with the app and everything. And they're talking about as many as 30,000 migrants had appointments scheduled that are gone.
It's a lot
Just
of fucking
there was a
people.
lady scheduled today for an interview that got canceled, and like
the office is
she was
like it's
crying,
closed now.
like, and like as an immigrant, right? As an immigrant, there's proper ways to do things.
Former immigrant.
Former, I have no one's getting a bounty
as
off
you
of me.
noticed, David, he did it during Biden's time.
Yeah.
Honestly, crazy. Like, I don't know if anyone else has gone through the process. So when we went on our guys trip on the cruise, my green card expired on September. It expired September of that year. I applied for citizenship second week of September. I was told it was a 16-month waiting period, but by applying for my citizenship, it auto renewed my green card. It made me eligible to go on the guys trip in October, which my green card was now active again, and I got sworn in at Faneuil Hall in Boston in November. From a 16-month wait projected wait all the way to November, just like that. The guy that interviewed me and asked me questions had a thicker accent than I do. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the process. Like, I was expecting like a year and a half process.
Depending on why you're going through either the green card or citizenship, like the actual
I've
status.
been here for decades. I've been paying my taxes. I've been doing. My kid goes to school. You know what I mean? It's
If
they
you're
look at me.
like,
They're like, "Hi, he's good."
if I was an immigrant and my son was a U.S. citizen, and for him to petition me to become a green card holder, I think right now it's 8 years to be seen. So it's like
Fucking
one of those
dying
things. It
that time.
depends. Yeah, it depends on how you are trying to get it. Is the
Yeah.
timeline?
But as a former immigrant, I look at it as it's clearly a problem. At least he's trying to do something about it and have people do it the proper way. Because my family did it the proper way. Just do it the proper way. It's different than I guess people seeking asylum. I 100% understand it's different, but the amount of people that are coming in for asylum, like maybe our guidelines need to be looked at. Is what I'm saying.
I think though it's on that kind of similar topic, counterintuitive, when he wants to bring food costs down, but then wants to go to like Florida and stuff and California and then deport illegal immigrants, which are the ones picking oranges and fruits and vegetables to keep the.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like he wants to
If-
raise taxes on he wants to what's it called? He wants to put God, why am I blanking on the name?
The External Revenue
Yeah.
Service.
No, he when the shit's coming in, the exports, imports, when he wants to tax it from the other country.
Tariffs.
Yeah, the tariffs. He wants to increase tariffs, right? So we want to lower groceries and all the other livable expenses. You want to lower that, but you're putting tariffs, which is going to increase most of your day to day, right? Like most of our something, for example, your cucumbers, cucumbers, tomatoes. What is it? The guacamole. God, what is that?
Avocado.
Avocado.
Avocados, right? Huge percentage of avocados comes from what I believe is Mexico. I think it's like
Mexico,
90% of them.
It's either Mexico or I think California.
They're already
other
fucking
two.
expensive.
Well, I guess that's on the topic.
Exactly.
Tony. How are we going to decrease food costs when you're increasing tariffs, but also deporting the people that are, which they're undocumented, we know that, but they're also low wage workers that still pay taxes into the system, which people think they don't, but they still do, but they don't get any benefit of it because they're undocumented. So like when they're getting $5 an hour, I'm just making that up.
We as a country just need to work on our own infrastructure to create all of
But the
that.
problem
We
is
don't
if you
wanna
have Americans don't want to pick oranges.
No. We also
But
don't
if
want
you-
to. We also don't want to cut our own lumber, which is why we use Canada for parts of it.
Yeah. So like if you force now Americans to go, I'm just using Florida as an example, to actually pick the oranges because we, deported 80% of them out of that region, the price of oranges is going up. So I would love to see, I wish our new president the best of luck with what he's doing. Like no qualms here, but I think it's a hard statement to make that you're trying to decrease food costs, but
You can say whatever you want, but you need a real plan in place. You can't just say, "Hey, I want to do this," and just magically hope it happens. Like, what's the logistical?
I get what he's doing. I 100% get what he's doing for America, but I just think it's going to be hard to decrease like food costs in general.
Well, we'll see, right?
We've got. Hey, all I'm saying is we've got 4 years of Trump, and this man knows he's only got 4 years left. I'm expecting the most unhinged president ever for that last year. That's all I'm saying.
Before I talk about how the cable companies just royally screw us, I think I saw somewhere before we just switch. I think I saw somewhere that he's going to be signing 200 executive orders within the next like 24 to 48 hours. Which is, I don't know if that's like
he's just signing everything.
Did you see that he kicked the people out of the military that claimed they were transgenders, that they weren't fit to serve?
Hey guys, if you're loving what you're hearing, you can find us on all your favorite apps: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, you name it. Hit that subscribe button, leave a review, drop us a comment. Your support keeps the conversation going and the jokes rolling. Don't forget to share with your friends, family, anyone else. Honestly, we don't care. The more the merrier. It's like an extended JAC'D family. Now, let's get back to it. Which is crazy as a country that we need
Yeah.
to have our president
I agree.
saying stuff like that.
I agree.
I mean, it is what it is. His cohorts like that.
That's why, yeah, he clearly got voted.
If you want my
and it is what it
opinion,
is.
I think there's only 2 genders. I know that's a hot topic of it.
That's
I think
offensive.
that's the time we. I
Yeah,
mean, that's the time we.
Yeah, I won't be getting involved on that conversation.
No, we're not that kind of podcast.
No. I won't.
But let's talk about how I called Xfinity the other day, and I'm like, I have a house phone.
Really?
I have a house
You have
phone.
a house phone still?
Well,
Do you have the old school like voicemail
Which-
setup too?
well, we never used it, and it never worked. So
Does it
long
have a
story
cord?
short, yes, but it's downstairs in the basement.
It has a cord, Tony. Jeez.
It's
No,
not
actually, no, it
rotary
doesn't have a
phone?
cord. No, it's wireless. It's
Oh,
wireless.
okay. I thought you meant the ones that you could like.
But so, back when we had a Comcast like in-house rep that worked with when we got this house and stuff like that, that they had for the neighborhood. So like you didn't have to go to like a Comcast center or call like 1-800. It was like a direct line to somebody in Comcast. So they got better deals than what you could kind of get in Comcast. And actually, she left the company, so I tried to call her to see about stuff, but she left the company. But I was in a 3-year package. I have the best internet, all the channels. It came with. They paid for my Xfinity, not Xfinity. They paid for my Netflix, and I had all the streaming apps. I have 2 boxes, and which David's gonna hate this, but I also pay for their modem. Yeah, but that's a tricky one because if you don't have their modem and your internet's not working, they don't like fix
You don't
it.
get tech support.
Yeah, so it is what it is. But
Their
when I
modem
signed
isn't
up,
bad. It's the modem Wi-Fi combo bullshit that I just
it was like $220 a month for all that. Like literally every channel, Red Zone, all like the like HBO Max, everything, like literally everything. And it's not drastically, but it's gone up over the past 3 years because it was a 3-year contract, and August will be the end of it. And I'm at like 287 something. But I called them and I was like, I don't use the house phone. Can I just go to like a double play? And what's the price if I keep everything the same? She was like, well, if you went to a double play. Now remember, I paid $287 with the phone. She was like, you would have to go under a new contract, but since I'm not a new customer,
Can I take a guess? I want to think you guess the price.
well,
Double play, right? Because you're an existing customer. They're gonna screw you left and right. They
Yeah.
probably offered it to you for $220.
He's gonna get it out.
I wrote it
It
down.
must have been close. It must have been close.
The double play. Now
Yep.
this was without Netflix, I think, and without one of the other streaming ones. It was $265. I pay $287 right now. If I wanted to put it under Anna's name, with no streaming, none of the streaming service, nothing, it was $230. So after paying for all of them, I'd be back at the price I'm paying now.
It's always beneficial as a new customer. So when I did sales, obviously in my previous job, one of my previous jobs, we sold Comcast for a little bit, and we were literally told, hey, if you pull someone up in their account and it's too expensive, ask if they're willing to lose service for a few hours to switch them to someone else in the household as a new contract, because they'll get the new customer rate, which is crazy. It's the same thing with insurance. You need to shop around every time. There's no loyalty for existing.
But the problem is cable and internet is pretty much a monopoly.
Did you threaten to cancel altogether?
I mean, I didn't really get to that
Who's
point,
he
but
gonna go
like,
with?
That's
who
good.
you gonna?
You don't have Verizon, I don't think, Jeff, right? You don't have
No,
You'd have to do the Elon Musk satellite one.
and then even TV on the side. Like the problem is too, like Anna likes a lot of different shows from a lot of different networks, and she records them and stuff like that. So I need at least one box that does the recording, anyways. So it's just like I need at least a double play with most of the channels, and it's even as a new user, once I factor in the Disney, the Netflix, HBO, stuff like that, I'm at the same price I'm paying now. So it's
Yeah.
like,
honestly, it doesn't, because even right now, right? If you were like, all right, I don't want to do TV through them, I want to go separate everything, right? Because that's what I do, right? You're gonna go pay 100, 120 for just internet. If you wanted something with live sports like YouTube TV, it's like almost
they just went up.
$85
They
now.
just went up.
Yeah, 85. Yep. I actually had pulled it up because I had seen it from when they first started. So when they first started in 2018, I would have to find it. I can't have it here. $35 a month was the original price.
Yeah, it was original.
In
And it was
2017,
probably,
it is now $83.99.
and that's like a lot of the Airbnb, Ubers, all that.
Yep.
It was subsidized by shareholders in the beginning to get people to use the service. And then obviously shareholders want a return on their money, so they have to increase the price. At $85, it's better just to go back to cable.
Yeah,
And
so
I said that before.
it started at 35, so it went 35, 40, 50, 65, 72.99, 82.99. Oh, year over year increase like that. If it was anyone else besides a Google-led company, they would be struggling.
Yeah. But I don't know. There's nothing else to do about that. Like, there's nowhere for else for me to go. I need decent internet for work.
Yep.
So it's like you
And
get.
we don't even have files. Like for me, I don't have files in this area.
Well, it's a lot of times it's an oligopoly.
Yeah, the mayor just announced recently that they're looking into the city provided fiber, which thankfully, like, someone's trying to do something. His pockets probably just weren't paid enough for him to shut up about it. Is probably what it was, because that's how it just works around here.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Hopefully, one day we can get away from oligopolies in the data TV world, but it's not going to happen now.
Yeah, it is what it is, right? There is one last bit I wanted to talk about, which was breaking from probably a couple hours ago about Ben Johnson. So Ben Johnson, he is the sexy pick for coaching hires this year. He interviewed. Yeah. Ooh. So last year he interviewed. He didn't take a position. Had another great offensive year with the Lions. Right. He made Jeff Goff look like a fantastic quarterback. He's supposed to be the guru for any team that wants an offensive minded head coach. He wanted a good quarterback, young quarterback. He was looking at Patriots and Bears. He's just signed with the Bears. I like it. Like, I love it for the Bears, right? Instead of going with an old head and someone who probably wouldn't be good for Caleb, he needs a young quarterback that will be with him for his rookie contract, which I think will work. And then my biggest thing, how are you going to stay in the same division as your previous head coach that essentially was your mentor? Like, that's rough. Like, Bears versus Lions, like, those are going to be good to watch because they're going to know each other.
I mean, it's tough, but also you got to take the opportunity, right? I mean, there's been other times where they stood in the same divisions, but
yep, I like it. I'm hoping there was no numbers released for what it was specifically, but the Bears, Bears won last season's off season with free agency when they picked up they picked up the wide receiver, the Keenan Allen. They picked up the running back, the Swift. They got Caleb, right? Now they got rid of a terrible coach. Now they're getting an up-and-coming coach. Hopefully he can get the job done. But it looks good for the Bears, right? So that division is going to be even better, right? What'd you say? 40
we say that about the
year?
Bears. We say that about the Bears, but they're the Bears.
Yeah.
But also we said the same thing about Washington, and look where they are now.
We'll see. I like Ben Johnson. We'll see. I wanted him for the Patriots, but hey, I'm happy with Mike Vrabel.
We'll look at it next season.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, fellas.